Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and I have received this beautiful deck. Very strange, strange in a sense that it's focused on Finnish mythology, and it comes with a book, and it's from Susanna Salo, so it's wonderful. I got a little message. Blessings from Finland, and it's called Mythologia or Mythologia Fennica Tarot. And so this is the book. We're going to look into it, and the cards, and just in the regular box. And I also received some of the postcards, so I just wanted to show you some of Susanna's art from the deck as well, and it's all based on Finnish mythology. And I love that because this one, for example, it says Rusalka, and in Slavic mythology we have this water spirit called Rusałka. In Poland, that's how we say it. So I thought like, oh, I recognize quite a few themes that are very kind of similar between Slavic and Finnish mythology. I'm pretty sure that I could find more maybe if I knew the Finnish mythology, but I just received the deck and book, and I'm just going to, look at them in depth in the nearest time. I just wanted to share the deck because I was kind of excited about this one, so that's Susanna's, that's the postcards. And it's a regular tarot deck in a sense. It has 78 cards, and I marked here what's different about it, okay? So we have the Mythologia Fennica Tarot. It's a traditional 22 cards of the major arcana, 16 face cards, and 40 cards of the minor arcana. So it's a regular tarot deck. The themes of the major arcana in this particular deck focus on the Kalevala, and this is the like Finnish, how do we call it, like a Finnish Finnish epic poem. That's what it is, Finnish epic poem, and it's based on Finnish and Karelian folk poems. And Elias Lönnrot, he collected the text from the poem singers, and he created kind of this Kalevala, and it describes how the world was born, and there is mythology and protagonist. So she uses the protagonist and heroes and heroines from Kalevala in the tarot deck in the major arcana. Okay, so we have the in the majors there's Kalevala, and to the topics concerning the ancient worldview. In the face cards of the minor arcana, so court cards, they are divided into the 4 elements, the minor arcana: fire, water, air and earth. And in the court cards she has used ancient Finnish deities that governed the elements and were their personifications. And the face cards can be recognized from the triangular alchemical symbol. I will show you this. And the pip cards contain mythological creatures, tales of origin and other mythical things, and have been numbered from 1 to 10. Furthermore, she's shed some light on the shamanistic worldview in the cards, for she's interested in Finnish shamanism and the beliefs of the Finno-Ugric peoples. I did this because I assume they mirror the worldview of our Finnish forefathers. The mythology of the Sami people I've used with care and consideration, for I respect their exclusive right for their own cultural heritage. The Sami culture is really close to that of Finno-Ugric people, so I decided to rather use their mythologies as an example. The white deer and firefox card are the exception, as they also entail ancient Sami mythology. So all the illustrations in the tarot are painted by Susanna, except 3 of the cards, or 4 of the cards, which were created by her friend Laura. And the suits of the minor arcana represent the following fields, okay? So there is a folk of fire, so the suits are called folk. The folk of fire symbolizes masculine energy, life energy, observation, intuition, vision and action. Folk of water mirrors the inner world and feelings. The folk of air represents our spiritual state and thoughts, and the folk of earth refers to outer structures, matter, and action on the physical level. So maybe I'm going to remind you of this when I show you the cards. So the box is just like this, just regular paper box with the magician's card with the smith on top of it, and these are the backs of the cards. Very beautiful, simple, and the paper is like, it feels to me a little bit like from Make Playing cards, or very nice to shuffle, bendy, you know, not laminated, nice colors, and regular tarot size, so just a regular tarot size. So let's take a look then at the cards. What I did, I actually split them in. So I'm going to show you first the majors, okay, and then we're going to take a look at the minors in the like through aces, twos, and so on. So here we have the egg and the duck. It's the beginning, and she describes the stories. Actually, the book is written in a really interesting way. So I'm curious, you know, to learn, and that's what I thought as well. You know, in Slavic cultures, we also have similar theme of how the world came to be. That somebody, or you know, the Chernobog and Bielobog, that they were actually diving, or devil was diving into the bottom of the sea to bring the earth, to create the earth. And here is a similar theme, like the duck goes to the bottom of the sea and brings the earth, you know. So you always get the name of the card in Finnish. Well, here it's the beginning, but sometimes it's the Finnish names, like Ilmarinen. And then you have the English name of the card. There's keywords for every card. There is the story from Kalevala in this particular major arcana, and then there is conclusion, meaning what that would mean in more divinatory sense in your life right now. And it's actually really well done, and it's philosophical. It makes you think about it, and I like this type of decks, you know, that it's not just full new beginning, bye. So actually you can learn about Finnish mythology, you can learn about the myths and symbols. So let's go with this, okay? So I'm just going to maybe bring it, you can see it, I hope. So this is the beginning, the egg. This is this smith, the magician, and you can see this. Maybe I pick it up a little bit. I love this high priestess. There's the bee. I only later noticed that she looks like she's cut, but basically in the story in the book it says that she asked the bumblebee, which in Finnish folklore also like is a messenger between the worlds, to find out if her son is dead for sure and where he died. And maybe that's connected to her finding out, like, you know, that he's cut into pieces. But isn't it a wonderful image? You know, there are tarot decks, and I said it on Instagram, there are tarot decks that you would buy only for a couple of cards. She's pretty tough too. She's like the empress, and in Kalevala she's this, she's reigning over a certain place. I forgot the name now. So you can, Susanna like writes in a way that you kind of start connecting the dots, at least in the beginning. You know, I haven't read, as I said, all of it. So this is the emperor. The shaman is the Hierophant, which I really like. I love this wedding. So it's the black and white swan, right? And the lunar and solar principle, really beautiful. The chariot is the boat. Lemminkainen, maybe that's how you pronounce his name. Lemminkainen, he's the strength. Antero Vipunen. I don't know how to read it, but I like it. It reminds me from the Vikings of this guy who was, you know, and the oracle. And somehow that hermit has this oracle feel like. Sampo is this magical meal that can just produce ongoing goods. Love Rivals for, is it the Justice? I think it might be the Justice card, but I haven't read about this one. Dueling Singers for the Hangman. Lass of Tuonela, 13, so that's the Death card, and this image is also on the box and also on the postcard that I got, and I actually really love it with the swan. There is this Maid, that's the Temperance, and the Devil, the Great Oak, it's like somebody coming up from the fountain, the North Star for the Star, which is cool, the Spiral as well, Gates of Pojla, that's the Moon, Liberation of the Sun, that's kind of oomph. That's the Judgment with the snakes, Feast of Payvöle, I don't know, I'm reading it's like German, but the Tree of Life, it's the World card. So these were the major arcana based on this poem, the epic poem, and then I separated the cards into the figures. I hope I did it right. So you can see that that's the elemental qualities, right? So there's earth, air, water and fire. And then we have, and I do reserve the right that I might have mixed up a couple, but you get a sense of what the court cards are like. And then there's also an animal for each of them, or a spirit. And then there is another animal or spirit. So these are the court cards. And you of course learn about each of them because they from the folk tales and from the myths and so on. So then we start with aces, and all the 4 aces are the kind of like pure elements, right? So we have, they all ones, as you can see. Oh, so skew. So there is Birth of Fire, there is this Toast of Ukko, Bumblebee and Pelon Peko. So that's how that looks. Then we have 2s. I think that's twos. So as you can see, without the book, it would be really maybe hard to read it. I mean, you could read always intuitively, right? But with the book, you can find out more about the mythology, but also learn more about, you know, how it was connected, how it connects to tarot as well, because for some reason, you know, she picked this particular theme for the card. So I find it always fascinating and really interesting, you know, to actually have it done this way. But it would be really difficult to just rely on Rider-Waite-Smith or something for reading it, because it doesn't remind you of anything of Rider-Waite-Smith. At the same time, if you are one of those people like my friend Natalia, who like hates Rider-Waite-Smith and she doesn't like how it looks, she doesn't want anything to do with it, then this would be one of the decks that maybe, you know, can be interesting for people who don't like the look of Rider-Waite-Smith. Oh, this is another one that I love so much. It's really beautiful. And again, the bee. Some of the cards are really, really amazing. I love this one too. Folk of the Graveyard. In general, there's quite a few. There's like this Snow Queen kind of feel. There's quite a few amazing cards. So this is 7. with those crazy kind of nature spirits. We have those also, you know, in Slavic mythology. This is 8, Sona, vortex, witch's circle, and Mahinen. And then 9 is golden bride, rapid spirit, white deer, and stone labyrinth, and then 10s, the dragon, the pike, court of the serpents, and Pyretinian. So this is the deck, as you can see, very unique, very different. I think to really use it, you probably do have to, there's 2 extra cards that are empty, you probably have to have some form, you know, interest, at least in Finnish mythology. This is the first time I'm shuffling it, so it riffle shuffles great. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. Probably in time it will get bent. It really reminds me of playing cards for just, you know, good cardstock for using. Good cardstock for using, not too thin. It's perfect, perfect for using. So I just wanted to pick 1 card for us. Let's just pull 3 and we're going to interpret the middle one, okay? Just to see how the cards look together. So, and I think would be great for intuitive reading as well, but yeah, like this, you know, if you don't have the book, it's pretty hard to get to like know what's going on. So we're going to check the raven, okay? So we'll go to its air element, raven. It's like Page of Swords. So we have these keywords in the very beginning, and then it says that raven is an old and wise bird of knowledge. The sun can be seen as its symbol, but it is also the embodiment of the forces of darkness. Raven represents knowledge, wisdom, learning, cleverness, ability to solve problems, and healthy selfishness. Ravens cooperated with hunters by locating the prey for them. They would follow the quarry and call out for the humans who would thusly know where their prey was. But raven was loyal to none but itself, and it might have just as well sided with a hunting wolf pack. The lesson of the raven is the finding of one's own power and then utilizing it. The bird's power is in its mastery over its own life, and the power to decide, for the raven knows how to be selfish in a healthy manner. According to folklore, one could learn the language of birds by drinking a raven's eggs. That's fascinating, because tarot is a part of, you know, bird's language. It's always a symbolic language, poetic language. So drinking a raven's egg, you could learn the language of birds. How evocative. One would have to seek out the raven's nest during early spring and drink all the eggs that were in it. And then one would have to hide somewhere dark and stay there without seeing anyone as many days and nights as how many eggs there were. But the ravens would go after the thieves and trick them out from hiding with their cunning. Even those who managed to learn the bird's language were often disappointed, for ravens usually just cawed about the disasters and deaths to come. This is how the raven teaches humility and wisdom to arrogant, stupid, and self-important humans. In Kalevala, the raven, I think I pronounce it well, Kalevala, the raven augurs the worst possible outcome to the mother of Lemminkainen when she's fishing the parts of her son's body from the Black River of Tuonela. The mother ponders out loud whether her son will ever be the same, and the raven urges her to cast the body parts back to the water. She nevertheless succeeds in reviving her son despite Raven's opinion. Conclusion, and then you have conclusion for each of the cards. So the raven represents knowledge and truth, but this truth isn't necessarily what we'd hoped it to be. The raven helps one to see the truth as it really is through all sorts of self-deception. It teaches one to survive, to think clearly, to make choices, to suit better for your own well-being. The raven is the harbinger of both light and dark, and this means that it has an all-encompassing view on the situation. Nothing remains unseen from its eyes. The raven smells opportunities before they arise, and especially whether the opportunity will be more trouble than it's worth in the long run. It may be useful to advocate and think for one's own self-interest during negotiations and different situations of life, but it may also turn against oneself. The raven is so perceptive that it even sees the future, which makes this bird an excellent business partner and collaborator in challenging and changing situations of life. So I'm thinking it would be a cool card for, consciously pull it if you need energy to support when you have to, do business partner collaboration or discussing any type of, business stuff and things like this. You could put this card out and tune into this one. You must be ready to abandon old contracts and over-the-hill habits and customs in order to keep up with the raven's quickly changing pace. It may change its mind at any moment and break all agreements when coming across new and better ones. The raven is loyal towards its family and itself, but it will never forfeit its right to change its mind or the course of its life according to that which is best for it at that. The raven's keen perception and ingenuity are within you. You see what's really happening, for the raven has brought the gift of knowledge and awareness with it. With the aid of your sunbird, you suddenly receive knowledge of all the reasons that have led you to your current situation. You see your own past mistakes in a new light of possibilities. You see the true intentions of the other people. You see through all that which has previously clouded your vision. So that's how the book is written. That's what we needed to know. That's a page of swords, the raven, and that's what the book keeps telling us about it. So I'm just going to put a few more cards like this so you can take a look. And I think it would be lovely to know more about the cards, because once you know the story, you can start seeing the connections. And also it is very shamanic, it is very earthy in this regard. It has a lot of spirits and a lot of elemental beings. We have also in Polish those little beings at home. They take care of the home. And I think there's a lot of similarities. There's the snake with an egg, and I think it's fascinating. It's just a fascinating story. It's a fascinating idea for a deck. And I love tarot decks that I can still, as I said, sit down and learn something from them. So I hope you enjoyed this one. It's a little bit long, but it is something that I wanted to share, and that if you're interested in something like this, you can take a look at that. I will link all the links below. So thank you for watching, and I speak to you soon. Bye.